I was going about my day as you do, the normal stuff like making some breakfast, having a shower, having a shit, As I sat down on that toilet seat, I thought to myself, what important things might define the future? Some classic examples flew into my head quite early on, you know, things like nuclear war or a pandemic. But if those happened today, we'd be screwed anyway. There's not much the average person can do to control any of these factors. But then I thought, the internet, that's going to define the future. The internet is groundbreaking. And yeah, I know that this is not news to anyone. But if you really think about what the internet is and what it enables, it's unlike anything that humans have ever experienced before. It is so very many things. For example, it's the largest database ever in history, and it's a platform for communication where, in theory, anyone in the world can talk to anyone else in the world, assuming that they both have a connection to the internet. If we compare this to history, it would be like the Roman emperor being able to easily and conveniently talk to the Chinese emperor on a daily basis. And that for sure would be absolutely groundbreaking. But fine, how might this be the thing that defines the future? It obviously does not have the same risk of widespread and inevitable mortality that pandemics or total wars would have. But it touches on a really incredible topic, that being free societies and liberty. I am a firm believer that living in a free society is one of the most important contributors to having a good quality of life. It means that on any given day, regardless of however bad life has got, you have hope that someday you'll be able to make the right choices and have agency to be able to change your situation and make your life more bearable. And that is made possible by your right to choose freely, being held in the highest esteem by the society that surrounds you. I'm sure that many of you know about one of the largest debates that surrounds the internet, which is that of privacy versus surveillance. And granted, there are good arguments for both. As technology disperses more and more throughout the populations of the world, the ability for terrorists, for example, to obtain or formulate a weapon of mass destruction increases. And of course, this could be rooted out by having mass surveillance online, which would give people the highest chance of intercepting the attackers before they could cause mass damage. But on the other side, we have the problem that the power that comes with internet surveillance is dangerous. The person or organization that was in charge of surveillance would be able to know almost everything about you as an individual, as it is so hard to keep our digital footprints out of prying hands. And we already have real world examples of just how catastrophic this can be. China's system of internet surveillance, often dubbed Skynet, makes it incredibly difficult for people in China to deviate from whatever the government wants them to do. Essentially, it means that the Communist Party in China can treat their population as they want to, without repercussion, or even a small risk of being overthrown by the populace. In 2023, China had over 700 million CCTV cameras, which is equivalent to around a lens for every two people in the country. That is crazy. And using more and more advanced AI, it becomes incredibly easy to track where everyone is at all times. And so it becomes impossible to stand up to the government. Even in the free Western world, there are certain alarming trends. There are about 7.5 million CCTV cameras in the UK, equivalent to about one camera for every 11 people. But we also have massive conglomerates of tech corporations collecting and storing all of our data, and almost certainly selling it to less than honourable groups. With that in mind, it's not too much of a stretch to be worried about the paths that Western governments might take with regard to the internet. But there is hope, because the internet also provides us with an amazing opportunity to eliminate the possibility of complete government centralisation. If people all across a country can talk to each other, it's much easier to organise into groups to oppose a government that no longer acts in the best interests of the people that it governs. This is, of course, a double edged sword. If the internet is the best vector for like minded individuals to organise, it means that people with good hearts and good intentions can organise, but it also means that radicalised extremists can also organise. But maybe that's worth the risk to ensure that we don't fall into an inescapable tyranny. As long as a society can remain free, there will always be hope for the flame of liberty to keep on burning. Even if this means increased threats from terrorist groups, the material cost in property and lives, I don't think can ever match up to the cost that a tyrannical government being in power might have. If a tyrannical government has a monopoly over all of the information of its citizens, it can completely enslave its populations. People will then change from being individual, sentient, and important beings in their own right to entities that merely exist to serve the state. The way to make sure that this can never happen is to make sure that the internet always stays decentralized, perhaps even more decentralized than it is today. If we can break the stranglehold that big tech has on the internet, and at the same time ensure that the government does not get too much influence over the internet, people will always be able to speak freely online and organize to oppose tyranny and maintain liberty. And actually, the development of the internet provides opportunity for governmental reform, making it much more decentralized. However, with that being such a big topic, I think I'll save it for a future video. Anyways, I'm really interested in what you guys think, so do leave a comment and drop a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.